Hello everyone, and thank you very much for joining me today. It really is a beautiful day to be out, and my plan for today is to do some bird photography. So I've came to the coast. I'm going to explore this stretch of coastline and see what types of birds I can find to photograph. I'm hoping to do some birds in flight today and also capture some birds which are more stationary, perched in some of the rocks that surround this area. So I'm really looking forward to it. But off in the distance, I believe I've spotted some cormorants, so I'm quite keen to photograph those. That could be the main bird that I'm focusing on today, so I'm really looking forward to it. I hope you enjoy this video, and I'm off to try and see if I can find a nice little spot to photograph some of these cormorants from. So this video isn't going to be a technical video about gear or settings as such, but I just thought I would cover briefly the gear I'm going to be using today, just in case anyone's curious or wondering. So I've got my Fuji XT4 camera, and on that at the moment is my XF100-400mm lens. And I've also got the 1.4 times teleconverter with me, so if I need a little bit reach, I'm covered with that hopefully. But before I try and find where I'm going to photograph these cormorants from, as I've been walking along, I spotted the potential for a nice little photograph in this scene behind me here. And often with my wildlife photography in general, I like to show a lot of detail in the bird or animal that I'm photographing. But equally as often, I like to take in some of the surroundings just to show the type of environment that the animal or bird is in. I think it gives some context to the image, and it's just something I like doing when I think it's the right thing to do at the right time. Now with these birds here, I could pretty much fill the frame with them if I wanted, if I got into the right position. I've got enough reach to do that. But I just thought it looked quite pleasing to the eye, capturing a few of them perched on these rocks, and then off in the distance further out to sea there's another similar shaped rock which has got a gull perched on it, a solitary gull. So I just thought it made a nice image to capture the birds in their environment and the type of environment that I'll be shooting in today. So I've found a nice spot from which to photograph the cormorants. It's been really nice just standing here watching and observing them. Before I get into what I've been trying to do, I'd just like to point out that for all my wildlife photography, my priority is always the subjects that I'm photographing. So for example here, before I got any camera equipment set up, I've just been hovering around the area and using common sense and watching the birds, and I've noticed when I'm in this spot they are really not interested in me at all. They're not even looking at me, so I really don't want to disturb them, especially when they're nesting. I could go further down, I'm sure it would still be okay, but priority always has to be the wildlife over my photography. So with that said, I've got the 1.4 times teleconverter on the camera now, and I always like the image quality using that teleconverter. The images still come out really nice and sharp. So I've been taking some photographs and trying to get a few video clips as well. But I've watched cormorants for a number of years and I always find them quite fascinating. I can spend a long time watching them. They've got some interesting mannerisms. They like interacting with each other. They seem quite friendly in general towards each other, at least the ones I've seen over the years. And they're very particular regarding their nest. They'll often pick up some of the twigs and other things that they've gathered to make the nest and rearrange it a little bit. They enjoy diving off into the water, and when they're flying across the sea they fly very, very, very low, just above the water itself. And they're just nice birds to watch, really. But I've been enjoying this. I've been trying to obviously capture some stills, as I say at the moment, just with them perched on the rock or on their nests, and shortly I'll try and capture some images of them in flight. So very carefully and very slowly I've been making my way along these rocks to try and get into a position from which I think I'll get some decent images of these cormorants as they skim across the water. I need to move on a little bit yet, but it's very important to be careful and not get too carried away with the photography, because it's so easy to slip on rocks which are slidey and the consequences don't bear thinking about. So always be very careful, obviously. But if I can get a little bit further carefully, I think I'll get into a nice spot, and the direction of the light should be quite good as well. I've been observing the flight path that the cormorants are taking, and I do think this is going to be quite a nice spot, so hopefully I'll get a few decent shots. So that's going to be it for this video. Time for me to head home, check what I've got on my memory cards and recharge the batteries, both of the camera and for myself. But it's been a lot of fun, as it always is for me, doing wildlife photography, photographing birds in flight or just any sort of wildlife. I always really enjoy it and find it really rewarding. It's definitely not easy, and it's something you have to spend a lot of time doing and put a lot of effort into. But if you've enjoyed the video, please consider taking a second to give it a like rating. And if you enjoyed the content and you're not yet subscribed to my channel, do consider subscribing. But for now, as always, I truly appreciate your time watching. Thank you so much, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video.